November 12, 1987, 11:47 p.m. Keeper, Thomas. McKinnon's voice crackles through the radio static from Gull Rock Lighthouse. Coast Guard. This is station Echo-7. Something's wrong with the light mechanism. There's someone else here. The transmission cuts to silence. 14 hours later, search teams found McKinnon's lighthouse completely abandoned, his morning coffee still warm, his logbook open to an entry that couldn't have been written by him. This is what really happened. Thomas McKenzie wasn't some rookie keeper. 23 years manning remote lighthouse stations across the Maine coast, certified marine electronics technician, and recipient of the Coast Guard's Meritorious Service Medal for rescuing 11 sailors during the 1979 nor'easter. At 58, Tom was just 2 years from retirement, planning to buy a small fishing boat and teach his grandson about navigation. But on that November night, as Hurricane Francis churned offshore with sustained winds of 85 miles per hour, the Coast Guard received McKinnon's distress call. Within minutes, Station Rockland launched a full maritime emergency response to cutters, a helicopter crew, and their best marine rescue coordinator, Captain Sarah Reynolds. What they found defied every protocol in the Coast Guard manual. McKinnon's lighthouse was functioning perfectly, its Fresnel lens rotating on schedule, automated systems running normally. According to his final log entry, the light had been malfunctioning for hours. Someone had written in his logbook after he vanished. The technical evidence painted an impossible picture. McKinnon's VHF radio was set to channel 16, exactly where it should be. But maritime electronics specialist Janet Kowalski discovered something chilling. The radio's internal chronometer showed his transmission at 11:47 p.m. But the lighthouse's automatic weather station recorded 0 radioactivity at that time. It's like his voice existed in a dead zone. Coast Guard Chief Warrant Officer David Chen, a 30-year veteran of maritime investigations, found McKinnon's personal effects, untouched wallet with $347 cash, his father's pocket watch, even his reading glasses folded neatly beside his chair. In 23 years of lighthouse inspections, I've never seen a keeper abandon his post without taking his emergency beacon. Tom's was still charging on his desk. Then came the discovery that shifted everything. McKinnon's wife, Margaret, revealed that Tom had called her at 9:30 p.m. that night, 2 hours before his distress call. He sounded terrified, she told investigators. Said he'd been hearing voices in the radio static, voices calling his name. But Tom was the most level-headed man I knew. He didn't believe in ghost stories. The lighthouse's backup generator logs showed a power surge at exactly 11:47 p.m., the moment of McKinnon's final transmission. Marine electrical engineer Robert Tate examined the data. A surge like that should have knocked out every system in the lighthouse. Instead, everything ran perfectly. That's not just unusual, it's impossible. Wait, ... What investigators discovered next changes everything we thought we knew about that night. The Coast Guard's routine maintenance records revealed that Gull Rock Lighthouse had been scheduled for a critical safety inspection 3 days earlier, inspection that never happened. The appointed inspector, maritime engineer Daniel Carroll, had called in sick at the last minute. But here's what makes this revelation chilling. Carroll had died in a car accident 6 months before McKinnon's disappearance. Someone had been impersonating a dead man, scheduling lighthouse visits. When we cross-referenced the inspection requests with personnel records, we found 7 similar false appointments at remote lighthouse stations over the past 2 years, explained Coast Guard Lieutenant Commander Maria Santos, head of Maritime Security Investigations. Each request came with perfect credentials, proper authorization codes, even correct maritime terminology. Someone with intimate knowledge of our systems was systematically targeting isolated lighthouse keepers. The handwriting analysis of McKinnon's final log entry revealed the truth. The words, "light mechanism functioning normally, no distress situation," were written in Tom's hand, but forensic graphologist Dr. Elizabeth Hayes discovered micro tremors in the lettering. These tremors indicate extreme stress or coercion. Someone was forcing him to write this entry while he was already in distress. McKenzie hadn't abandoned his post. He'd been taken. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: deep-sea sonar mapping. The National Ocean Service's research vessel Pathfinder was conducting routine bathymetric surveys 2.3 nautical miles southeast of Seal Rock when they detected an anomaly on the ocean floor, a metallic object that had unappeared on previous surveys. Coast Guard divers descended to 180 feet and found Thomas McKenzie's emergency life raft weighted down with maritime anchor chains. Inside, they discovered McKenzie's body along with evidence that solved the mystery. It's waterproof documents revealing a sophisticated smuggling operation using lighthouse stations as coordinated navigation beacons for drug trafficking vessels. McKenzie had discovered the operation. The fake inspection requests were reconnaissance missions, criminals mapping lighthouse schedules, learning keeper routines, identifying who might pose a threat to their maritime trafficking corridor. Tom McKenzie died protecting the integrity of the maritime navigation system, Captain Reynolds stated at the investigation's conclusion. He refused to cooperate with criminals who wanted to use his lighthouse as a beacon for illegal cargo vessels. But one maritime mystery remains unsolved: McKenzie's 11:47 p.m. radio transmission was recorded by 3 different Coast Guard stations simultaneously, yet the lighthouse's radio showed no transmission logs. How did his final message reach rescue frequencies when his radio was never activated? McKenzie's sacrifice led to revolutionary changes in lighthouse security protocols. The Coast Guard now requires dual authentication for all maintenance appointments, installs encrypted emergency beacons in remote stations, and conducts random security sweeps of offshore trafficking routes. But maritime investigators still debate the unexplained technical anomalies from that November night. How does a man's voice transmit across maritime frequencies without activating radio equipment? Why did the lighthouse's automated systems continue functioning perfectly despite experiencing electrical surges that should have destroyed them? If you're fascinated by maritime mysteries that challenge our understanding of ocean technology, next week we're reinvestigating the cargo vessel that appeared on radar for 36 hours after it had already sunk, with rescue teams receiving distress calls from crew members who had been dead for 3 days. Subscribe to Twisted Crimson Vial for more maritime mysteries that maritime experts still can't explain. And tell us in the comments, have you ever experienced unexplained radio communications while at sea? The Coast Guard's Maritime Anomaly Database contains over 200 similar cases. You might have witnessed something that could solve another mystery. The ocean keeps its secrets, but we'll keep searching for the truth beneath the waves.